Well, hello, everybody. I'm Rick Dancer. Welcome to Get Real with Rick Dancer. And we are going to be talking about recalling Oregon's governor tonight. Um, we've already had the show with Bill Minix, the guy behind the recall effort. He's not the only one, but he's the guy who spearheaded it. And now he's got hundreds of people out there in Oregon working for him because, as most of you know, Tina Kotex is, if she's not the last of the 50 states in terms of popularity as governor, she's near the bottom. And that says a lot about Oregon voters because your former governor, Kate Brown, was also the biggest loser. And you guys put her in office. So hopefully the world has changed, and now people are going to start thinking a little bit more about what they do, especially after she just is in the effort in the attempt right now to uh, put forward the biggest tax increase in Oregon's history. And giving you, the voters, the responsibility for paying for that because she has some pet projects she wants to do. So joining us, first of all, our sponsor, and I don't have, because I'm in Portland right now, and so I don't have Dr. Bratlin's little fancy intro that I do, but we couldn't do our shows without Dr. Michael Bratlin, Chris Dental Family Dentistry. He loves stirring the pot. He likes people's having conversation. He's a hell of a dentist. But if you want to go to somebody and give your money and your hard-earned cash to somebody, you got to have your teeth work done anyway. If you want to give it to somebody that agrees with your philosophy, he's your man. And he also has gotten me in a lot of trouble, like doing billboards for Backing the Blue. And and I always say yes because I like to get in trouble. It's kind of fun. It's better than not doing anything. So here's Bill Mannix. Nice to have you on, Bill.
It's good to be on board. Thank you very much.
Oh, I'm excited to see. So we had you on a few, 3, 4 weeks ago. I don't remember when it was, but we had you on and you were talking about what you're doing. So why don't you tell people the recall effort, and then we'll give them an update on to kind of where you're at. And then folks will also let you know where there's places you can go to participate. If you want to sign this thing, we'll tell you where you can go. So you're going to have to pay attention because what we always get, Bill and I laugh because after the end is always, where is it? Where is it? We've told you 10 times. So Bill, talk to me. Why? I mean, this is a huge undertaking. Why are you doing it?
The main reason I came up with this idea was because Oregon Child Protection Agency has a right to take children away from parents in Oregon if they fight the schools over gender ideologies. And we had that happen in Deschutes County where I live. And I personally witnessed the family that lost their son and lost their daughter in high school. The CPS took them away. And I said, that's enough. Oregon should not take the rights of parents away. The other reasons we're behind this, we're tired of high taxes. We're tired of our tax money going out the window to DEI, to woke nonprofit agencies, and going to illegals. Our tax money is for Oregonians, for veterans, for the homeless. But yet we're having to pay out our yin yang in taxes, and our gas taxes, our home taxes, our property taxes, so on and so forth. So I want to put a stop to this. And the best way to put a stop to this is you start from the top and fire them and work your way down. This is
I'm,
what we're hoping to accomplish.
while you're talking here, I'm trying to find Ed Deal. You and I are both big fans of him because he is the real deal. And
Yes, he is.
I don't know, did you see this today? Um, Ed Deal, Republican from Staten, has called on the Oregon Department of Justice Medicaid Fraud Control Unit and the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Office of General Inspector to investigate serious allegations of Medicare fraud and oversight failures at, guess where? The Oregon Health Authority, those same idiots that told us all the COVID bullshit. Investigating reporting revealing that Uplifting Journey LLC, founded in 2023 by an individual using the name Julius Maximo, received more than $2.3 million in Medicaid reimbursements in less than a year. The company operated out of Lake Oswego at a halfway house, later tied to alleged members of the big gangs they've talked about from Venezuela, one of whom is facing charges in Washington state for kidnapping, torture, robbery, and attempted murder. Despite these red flags, OHA, Oregon Health Authority, approved daily reimbursement claims until March of 2025. The company then abandoned its office and halfway house. Soon afterwards, they were gone. There is likely more than one fraudulent provider in this. $2.5 million. And they were claiming it every day. And under the policies of your governor, this is what happens. I mean, that is just, and I posted that on my page. If you guys are on here, you can go on my Facebook page a little. I posted the whole letter so you can read it for yourself. But Bill, can you believe that?
I couldn't believe it when I read it this morning. We also have it posted on our Facebook page. I think the timing is right to bring all this out. Is showing the corruption that we are facing, and we're doing nothing about it. Well, now it's time to do something about it. It has to stop.
Hasn't there been? I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. You're more involved with this. Wasn't there Didn't they try to recall her before? Have we tried to recall her before?
No, not Kotex. We have tried to recall Governor Brown 4 times, and all 4 failed. The last one came close, but this one is so much different because there's so much more corruption, and Oregonians are waking up. They're actually coming forward, and like we went to the Oktoberfest to get signatures at Mount Angel.
Nice. Yeah,
we had people rushing us to sign the clipboards. People from all sides of the aisle. It was pretty awesome.
So I mean, I'm not belittling the hardness that you have, because I know this is a very hard effort, and you have to get how many signatures do you have to have, Bill?
293,000.
So that's a big number, but she makes it easier for you, doesn't she?
She does. Her remarks she makes, her continuation of wanting to tax us and rob us. I mean, can you imagine people, the working class, are going to face another 40% on top of their 15% that's taken out of their paycheck? That's 55% of their check they're not going to see. Wake up, Oregon. You don't want that to happen. This is what your governor does.
And look at all the businesses that have left and are still leaving. JD Delay, you just wrote on here, I'll help campaign to get those changes. You have a large platform. Share this right now on your platform, and that'll go out to people too. But also contact Bill, and he'll give you information on how to do that, and help him out. Yeah, because you have to have those signatures by when, Bill?
On October 27th, I'll be driving to Salem with all the petitions.
So it's coming up.
Yes.
And you say you're over halfway. In terms of is that how many you have to have? What's your goal and what you're trying to get? Because I know, because the Secretary of State, Tobias Reed, who, if this happens, will become governor of Oregon for a while, they fight. So they look for anything they can to disqualify a signature. I mean, that's their whole thing, is they're trying to disqualify. So you're supposed to have how many, and how many do you need to get, really?
We're supposed to have 293,000. I'm shooting for 350,000. We may end up getting more than that. We might be getting a little less than that. But I did a lot of research on the last recalls, and I want to bring something up. You brought up Tobias. On September 17th, I filed a notice against Tobias and the governor, a notice of intent to file federal injunction relief against the Oregon Secretary of State. This is going to go into federal court. What I'm going after is, there's 2 factors. One, they have misleading circulation instructions on our petition, which is causing people not to sign. The cover sheet is wrong. It states that they have to be in their district and in their county to sign the petition. That's not true. Oregon state law says on a recall, anybody can sign in any county that's a registered voter, in any county, from any county. So they would correct that and do the template correction for me. So I continued with this. I do have an email from him saying it was wrong, but this is taken away from people that want to sign. They see that and they say, oh, we're not in that district, we're not going to sign. So I'm getting an injunction to protect us from that, and I'm asking for an additional 30 days to get signatures because they're hampering our signatures. The second one is that they have ambiguous and unfair signature validation standards. Okay, let me explain that. There's 4 ways to get a registration signature on Oregon voter registration rolls. One is through the DMV automatically. When you file for a driver's license, your signature on your driver's license becomes your voter registration signature. Number 2, they can sign a paper registration and send that in. That's a totally different signature. That becomes a signature on the registration. Number 3, there's electronic signature on vote.gov. That becomes your signature. And number 4, the new ID Me, that signature can become your signature. So this gives the Secretary of the State the option to throw any of 3 signatures away. And they are setting up a trap, but I caught it, and we are taking them into federal court.
If they are supposedly, your Secretary of State should be a nonpartisan position. And their job, literally the job, because I ran for it, is to be the watchdog for Oregon voters. You're not the governor's, footstool. None of that. You're supposed to be there to be able to stand up and make sure that all voters are treated fairly. And we have lost that, Bill, so much, They're working against, they work against you. And here it is. They know people want to sign this thing, and they're making it. And I know they'll take signatures, and if they don't look exactly right, they'll throw them out. And rather than shouldn't it be, we want to find fraud, obviously. But wouldn't it be more that so here's I just thought of this. This is kind of, wow. I think this is kind of cool. I think you're going to like this, Bill. So we work so hard to ensure that illegal people vote because everybody should be voting and involved in the process. So we work so hard to make sure that those people can vote. And yet when it comes to an initiative petition that goes against their grain, they work equally as hard to make sure they disqualify every voter who signs on that sheet. That is bullshit.
That is.
I had never thought of that before. That's exactly what they do. They would bend their back. They'd sell their grandmother to make sure that they get 10 votes out of illegal people. And yet we have legal citizens signing petitions to try to recall their governor, and they work that hard to try to stop them from doing it. And they put it under the guise of trying to maintain integrity in the system. They wouldn't know integrity if it hit them in the face.
We're going to, with this intent, and then when it goes into federal court, Judicial Watch, who has a lawsuit against the voter rolls right now in Oregon, they are aware of my intent, and they may be allowing me to jump on board with them. We won't know for sure. I meet with my constitutional attorney the end of this week. But we are going to put a stop to this where they cannot say, okay, we're not going to take that signature because it doesn't match the one they signed. Well, guess what? The person might have signed 20 years ago. Their signature changes. We have case law in the United States. There's case law out there that says they have to recognize the fact the signature changes over years. Yet Oregon will not do that. You know what? Oregon, you're going to do that.
It is interesting how hard they work to disqualify people. And yet we don't even require a driver's license in order to vote. Now, Bill, I want you to answer a question. Eric Lindquist had a question on here, and he said, if this is successful, Tobias Reese is even worse.
I'm glad you asked that question, Eric. There's a big idea afloat now that Oregon Republicans won't be able to beat Tobias Reed. And to me, that is one of the weakest statements being made out there. Let me tell you why. Tobias has been involved in 12 years of corruption, following Brown's terms, now Kotex's terms. And that corruption is high taxes, unconstitutional laws, gun control, homelessness out of control, broken schools, and government overreach. Tobias can try to run from that record, but he can't. He's part of it. He owns it, and Oregonians know that. And you know what? He now has 2 lawsuits against him and potentially 3 that are corrupt voter rolls. And he's refusing to turn over the voter rolls to the Department of Justice, which is illegal under federal law. And that's why the day before I filed my intent, September 16th, the DOJ filed an addition to their lawsuit for him to failing and denying to turn over the voter rolls. So yes, Tobias can be beat, and I think he can be beat easier than Kotex. So it's time for our campaign to get their candidate together, to build their platform, and to build up the fight Tobias, because he will probably be the next governor for a few months, and then we go into midterms, and we need to be ready for midterms.
Well, after the assassination of Charlie Clerk, we live in a whole different world. I have so many Democrat friends that are so angry with Kotex, with the way the state of Oregon is operating. To me, I understand people's arguments, but I think Republicans and well, anybody, but Republicans often kind of, this is just my own, and I'm not trying to be overcritical, but Republicans tend to nitpick each other. Remember, I ran for office. I know. There was times when people would criticize me for little things, and you'd go, and it wasn't like personal things. It was things like that I should be doing, and you're going, why don't you just be supportive of the people that stand forward? That's one thing Democrats used to do really well. Now they don't have anybody there's no one to vote for, but they always, even if they had to, plug their nose and vote, they stuck together. And Republicans tend to be like, we're more conservative, so we have more standards, and we tend to be more particular. But I think in these cases, we need to get together and go, okay, so who are you going to elect? What are you going to do? But I think it shows, it really slaps the Democrats in the face. Those, I don't want to call them the Democrats. It really slaps the left-wing terrorists in the face when you've taken their governor out, and not physically, just out of office. When you recall her, it's going to be really hard for them to recoup from that, I think. I think it, and it just puts more power in what Trump started, what Kurt started. You have a governor in Kotex who is putting, so she's crying about, losing all this money, and I've got to charge you Oregonians more for this and this and this. And yet she's still putting at risk billions of dollars more she could lose because of her arrogance in allowing illegal people to stay here as a sanctuary state and cities and all that bullshit. And so if you were really like in a financial situation and you thought, I represent the poor, the middle class, the rich, all these people in Oregon, I need to protect them. But instead, I would rather protect people who aren't even supposed to be here. And that is not what a governor does. They work for the people that are citizens of that state. And if other people want to become citizens, those people, go do it. Come to our country. I welcome you, but do it legally. And if you don't get to vote in our frickin' elections. We're allowing people to vote who don't even belong here.
Not only allowing them to vote, we're automatically registering them with the DMV. That's absurd.
Well, motor voter has got, that was Kate Brown's brilliant idea. And that has slapped the Democrats in the face over and over again, because what they do is they're forcing people to vote. They don't want to vote. They don't care about our system. They don't care about any of that. And so you have the largest voting bloc in Oregon is now not the Democrats. It's definitely not the Republicans. It's the non-affiliated voters, because they don't give a shit. So you got all these people registered, and they're skewing the numbers. If those people, they are the most powerful people in Oregon. If the independents and the non-affiliated voters would join forces with the Republicans, you wouldn't have a problem anymore. And
You
you
know
could
how
go
many are out there? 1.2 million. Can you imagine if we could just get half of those to
well,
get off their couches and vote and to look at what's going on? But instead, a lot of them, and I don't mean to be rude, but a lot of them are too busy being on Facebook smacking what people are trying to do rather than joining the forces to make the change. Well, you know what I tell you to get up off your butt and help us.
well, and I would say that to the Republicans too, because in the last election, had the Republicans voted, all of them who were registered in Oregon had voted, you would not have a supermajority. You would not have this tax bill looming over your head. You might not have had a majority, but you would have at least not had a supermajority, and you could fight any measures that were going to come in to raise taxes. And that's not the fault of the Democrats. That's not the fault of the governor. That's the fault of the Republicans who are not getting out and voting because they whine that, oh, my vote doesn't matter. Well, it doesn't when you don't do anything.
That's right.
And so
That's
you
right.
can't bitch. If you're not voting, you don't get to complain. That's my whole thing. If people come on and go, I don't like the way the state, did you vote? If they say no, then shut up. You didn't
I
participate.
totally agree.
You know what I mean? If you're don't sit there and be, the Willie whiner on the Sventh Post screaming about this, because what is wrong with Oregon when you have elected two of the least popular governors and you keep electing them? I mean, God.
That says something. It says
Are you, come on. That is
the
just
people aren't doing their job.
It's just ignorant. So, and it's not just, I'm not just blaming the Democrats, although, do you guys, you still like what your vote brought you? But I'm looking more at the Republicans and the non-affiliates. If you guys don't want to be overtaxed, then get off your dead ass and go do something about it. But you
Can I
can't.
share something that's kind of related to what you're talking
You
about?
sure may. You're my guest. You're supposed to be talking more than me, but you got me fired up, and that's not my fault, Bill.
Being the chief petitioner, I have to contact every county chair in the Republican Party to get volunteers, to get their headquarters to have our petition. And as much as I hate to say this, I ran into roadblocks all over Oregon with some of the chairs refusing to back the recall, with some of the chairs not even responding to me, some of the chairs still not responding to me. And you know why? Because they're too busy having in-house bickering going on in the counties where they can't decide if they're going to go left or right or in the middle. Instead, they just say no, 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 and they ignore everything. You know what? This has got to change. I've actually gotten a few of the county chairs to change their mind and support us. There's a few out there that still are not supporting us. You know what? You're not a Republican if you don't support us.
Well, yeah, well, that's what I was talking about earlier, and I get it. I know what their concerns are. They think you're gonna, you're gonna fail, and then Kotek will look like she has more power. But I mean, what would they have done at the Tea Party if everybody got, well, I don't know, maybe the tea is not that big a deal. And I mean, she's a terrible governor. She's not doing it. She's trying to tax you guys to death. I mean, my wife and I are like going, we're in Montana. Our gas is $1 a gallon cheaper than yours.
Wow.
I go to this grocery store, the $7.99 a pound turkey I buy, that sandwich meat, is $12.99. I mean, you guys are being screwed, and and you keep, well, but we have, and Bill, because I like having you on here because we can just kind of ramble a lot about, because I heard the things on the radio, I was listening to the radio today, and I heard I just lost my train of thought. What was it that was coming up today? There was something that was just, it'll come back to me. Bill, so I put the website and your email on there. Where do people, tons of people are saying, where do I get a petition? Where do I sign up?
You can go to our website, which is www.OregonForThePeople, for is spelled FOR.com, and you will find locations right away on the front page. You can click on locations. When that comes up, you scroll down to your county, and there'll be locations. If there aren't any locations nearby you, you can go to the download section of the website, and you could download either a 10-line petition and follow the instructions and get 10 signatures and mail it to us, or you could download the single petition, print it, sign it, and mail it to us at P.O. Box 3360, La Pine, Oregon 97739.
Is that on there too? Is that on the website?
Yes, it is. It is.
Okay. And you guys,
I want to make sure if they download the 10-liner, they have to know to make sure one side of the page is a cover sheet and the other side is a 10-line signature sheet. You can't have two pages. You have to have it all on one page, front and back.
Okay, and you guys, and seriously, what Bill's telling you is, you have to make sure your signature's in the box. It has to be perfect, because Tobias and his little minions are looking for any reason to throw out your signature. Which,
if Bill, you make an error, cross it out, initial it, and redo it.
Yeah,
and we'll be fine. We're going to have 3 observers at the Secretary of State's office for 30 days when they're going through the petitions, and we're going to look at each and every one they try to reject. And the law says we can do that.
You know, Rick Dancer, I also wanted to say we've been watching you for a while now, and we're grateful for what you're doing. Oh, well, thank you. I'm sorry. I was just started reading that. Thank you. You're welcome. You know what? Have you, Bill, do you think, I mean, since the death of Kirk, are you just seeing people just, you know what it's done for me? I mean, I was always mouthy, and you know, I've been called everything. I just take everything as a compliment. Asshole's just a part of my body. And, you know, and I attribute everything when somebody says something like that. I just attribute it to that. But I think Charlie Kirk's death has really lit a fire under the ass of people, not just conservatives, but it's really lit a fire under people's ass to go and you can no longer be a spectator. This is not. No. Being involved in a state or a country is not a spectator sport. You know, in Jewish culture, everything's an action word. So if you're involved in a community, you have to do something. If you just sit on your dead ass at home and you don't ever participate or go to a meeting or go to participate in city life or civic life, you're not really part of that community. And it's the same with being in public office or out here in the country. And I think we're all learning, you can't just let your neighbors say, oh, you know, I remember being in a place where people would go, you know, oh, yeah, Rick, I'm sure you agree that Trump is just this. And I just to not get in a fight. This is years ago when I first voted for him in 2016. I just didn't say anything. Now it's like, you have to go, no, you know what? I support Trump. What? No, I support Trump. What don't you support about him? Oh, he's Hitler. Okay, we've done that whole thing. You wore that out. You know, and they can't ever come up with a good thing. So we as people have to start standing up for if you don't like Trump, that's fine. You don't have to, but we have to start standing behind people. And when we get leaders that are out of whack, then we need to remember that we're the boss. And what Bill is doing is setting up a way for you to fire her. That's all you're doing. You're saying, guess what? You're supposed to do a job for us, not to make yourself look good in history by doing some pet project in Portland, and you charge all the ratepayers out there. The taxpayers are going to do your project, so Tina Kotex can get a bust of her, and you know, in the Capitol or some big picture with her, you know. Hey, I know what I was going to ask you, Bill. Do you ever wonder what happened to climate change? Nobody talks about it
exactly.
Anymore.
Exactly.
I don't hear. I mean, wasn't it under the Biden thing? And it was like climate, and we're all going to die in 10 years. And, you know, I mean, I'm here in Portland and people are recycling. I'm going, we don't do this. We don't recycle in Montana.
Well, so. Whatever happened to preserving our forests instead of letting them burn down?
Or what happens when we are looking for the most sustainable way to build homes, affordable homes. So what we do is it's timber, because timber is a sustainable product. It also stores carbon, which is what we want. When it is burned, it releases carbon, which is what we don't want. So we don't provide enough timber so that we can build affordable housing, but we keep talking. Tina and her minions keep talking about we need more affordable housing, then allow the timber companies to cut some fucking wood.
That's right. That's
You
right.
know,
You
it's
know,
unbelievable.
I've
And
been,
how use your freaking brain. I mean, if timber products are too expensive, how do you build affordable housing? You don't. And that's not the only problem. Obviously, we need to come up with some programs that can help people get into their first home. But you're not going to do it when when you're making and then look at all the cities and the beautification projects that developers have to do in a neighborhood. How many trees they got to plant in a curb. Every neighborhood doesn't need a curb and a tree. They just want a
right.
freaking house to live in, and you put all these requirements. Well, a sidewalk would be nice. Screw the sidewalk. I mean, what we need is housing. We don't need all the beautification. Yes, it's nice to have that stuff, but it's not mandatory for somebody to get their first home so they can have a family and actually live.
Forest management is a huge pet peeve of mine because we don't have that in Oregon. Ever since Brown took office, we had that disastrous fire that went through and destroyed Detroit and all the places around there. And we've had fires like that ever since. And
Yeah.
I drive 300-400 miles sometimes a day throughout Oregon working on this petition. And I would have to say 50 to 60% of our highways are pitted. Where has the money gone from ODOT? But then the worst thing is I'll go 2 miles of a beautiful forest, and then I go another 20 miles of a burnt forest, then
Yeah.
20 miles of a beautiful forest, and then another 40 miles of a burnt forest. What is going on?
Yeah. Yeah. And but I honestly I'm not trying to place everything on Kirk's death, but I think that we really woke up as Americans. You know what I mean? And I think people are like, we're done. We're done with
I'm
this.
sorry
We're
about
not
all
going to.
that subject. You're absolutely right. Kirk's death has really spawned people from all sides of the aisles to step forward and say, you know what, we want change. And they
Yeah.
remember Charlie's words, I will never surrender.
Yeah.
And you know what? That's what Oregonians are starting to do. They're coming forward from all sides of the aisle, signing the petition and saying, we're not going to surrender.
I met back when I was a news guy, and this has been like when I had dark hair and in the 90s. And I went to Granite, Oregon, and I met a miner named Bonnie Skidsgall. She has since died. She had breast cancer and died. But she took me down into a mine, and we're way 600 feet down in this hole. And she's like a rugged woman. I mean, she's like good old Oregon, don't fuck with me. You know what I mean? She's so awesome. And I remember I said, so Bonnie, what is an Oregonian? And she goes, you know what? An Oregonian is a rugged individualist. She says, we came here as pioneers to get away from society. Some of us were the outcasts. We came here to get away from culture and bullshit and all
Yes.
that. And she goes, so that spirit is in the pioneer spirit is in every Oregonian. And I think even today, people come here because there's that appeal. They're looking for something. The problem is that when you're a rugged individualist, a lot of times you don't work well with other people, she told me. She says, so you think you know everything and you don't listen. But I think the other problem for Oregon that's happened is so many people have come in from other places. And I'm a true believer. Like once you go to a place and you pick it as your home, you're an Oregonian. But you better assimilate. That's what Kathy and I have had to do in Montana or wanted to do. We assimilate. It's not everything is perfect. And there's things that you could change. But I love the state. So I'm not going there to make it mine. I'm going there to become part of something. And that's what people need to understand about Oregon. Oregon is not, it is a place where dreamers came and they want to live their life the way they want to live their life. If you don't agree with that, then don't stay there.
You're right. It all goes
and
back to the Oregon Trail when the pioneers came out here.
yeah.
It's an amazing
And,
piece of history.
and like I said, I'm a big believer that liberal, Democrat, conservative, whatever, if you pick Oregon, great, but assimilate. You don't come in and try to make it, because a lot of the problem is people come from other states, California, and they come to Oregon and then they vote the same way they did in California and they are sick of what's happened in California, and now they do the same thing to Oregon and Montana and
You know
Idaho.
what? I think a lot of the Californians that have come here are starting to regret it because I've had quite a few people tell me the same thing in different words that they were from California and they left California because of the corruption. And now they're seeing the same corruption here and they're regretting it.
Yeah,
And I think some of those Californians that at first wanted to bring their laws and their policies with them are starting to change and saying, you know what, we're making it like California was.
yeah.
And they're regretting it and they're stepping up. And again, I think Charlie Kirk had something to do with that. I really do.
We drove by a apartment complex, and it's new. I mean, it's beautiful, very fancy and everything like that. For a studio apartment, $1,700 a month.
Wow.
I looked at my wife and I'm like, oh my God, $1,700 a month to live in a downtown apartment in Beaverton, Oregon. That's unbelievable. I mean, who can afford that? That's like, I mean, my house payment's a little more than that, but I'm investing in something. You're just paying somebody else's, investment there. So again, tell people I put the websites on earlier, guys, so you can find them. And now is the time to stand up and do something. And for the naysayers, hey, bottom line is, Bill, I think at least we're trying. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's like that's how I look at it. Yeah, and if you guys don't, if you mess around with Bill, he'll sick his dogs on you.
You know, there is one thing I'd like to mention.
Go for it.
We're having a rally again at the Capitol.
Good.
It's called Boots Across Oregon. And the reason we're calling Boots Across Oregon is because one of our signs to recall Kotex says, give Kotex the boot, and it shows a boot kicking. Well, we would now want to do Boots Across Oregon. And on October 18th, we're asking several people in every county to organize a caravan. Dress up your vehicles, dress up your trucks, drive to Salem, be there by 1 o'clock that Saturday afternoon. We will have a small rally. Then we're going to take our caravans from all over the counties. We're going to drive through Salem, go on to I-5 for a few miles, and then we'll all split off and go back to our homes. We want to make notice. During this caravan, the volunteers will be setting up tables along the way for signing the petition. Plus, the volunteers and those in the caravan have a chance to bring their signed petitions to the Capitol. So it's basically going to be kind of like a Trump caravan rally, but it's going to be all the people together. It's not going to, you know how those Trump rallies were. This is going to be similar, but we're there to unite the people, bring everybody together, decorate our cars, and just have a good time and let people know that we're together, that we want change, and we're going to fire our governor.
So again, the you need 350,000 to be safe signatures.
Yes.
And Bill says they have close to half of those, give or take a few, right? So, and the deadline is October 27th. So basically, Bill has and his warriors, Bill and his Cape Crusaders have about a month and a week to gather those signatures. So you guys need to get moving.
We have 36 days.
And Judith, and for people listening in this part of the show, go back up the comments. There is a website you can go to and you can download the petition. It explains everything on how you can do it. And that's how you can do it. You're welcome. Thanks for asking questions. And that's kind of how you do it. And then, I think the other thing you guys in Oregon to remember is that, it's we the people, and these people work for us. I mean, whether you're in Montana or Oregon, your legislators are supposed to represent you. So if they don't, get rid of them. Um, I'm hoping we see some big changes for Senator Ron Wyden. Nobody wants to wish bad things on people, but man, he's got some allegations that are pretty ripe,
Yeah, they
and
are.
that could open a seat for Oregon. I don't know if you read the report
I did.
on Wyden. He, you know, they listed in one article, they were listing what are the qualifications to be living in Oregon. He's not in Oregon 6 months a year. He doesn't have kids in Oregon schools. Those are both part of the requirements. And he has children that are school age. So he could
Did
find
you see
himself.
what the most recent article on Wyden came out today?
What is this, the one with the
It's
allegations of the
the
um,
suicide.
yeah. Everybody
Yeah,
should go check those out, because for years people have been saying, Wyden's married to a rich New York, which is fine. You can marry a rich New Yorker. But it's fine. But he doesn't spend 6 months a year in Oregon. I'll guarantee you that. And so that could be a seat. Or Bill, I believe this with all my heart, and I think you're part of this. Oregon is going to make its comeback, and then people like me who left are going to go, shit. I'll be happy for you, but I'm going, but some of us have to fight from the outside, and some of you can fight from the inside. And I think it's all, I get people all the time going, you don't even live here. What do you care? Of course they're liberals, And it's like, oh, because if I can be a pain in your ass, that's a good day for me. And I
yeah,
love
but
Oregon, just like everybody.
most of your followers are here in Oregon.
Yeah, we love Oregon. And yeah, we hit 5.5 million views today for a
Wow.
month. In a month, we get on our page 5.5 million views. So that's why they come after us. That's why they don't like us. Oh, did you see the big news about YouTube? Aren't we all surprised? Did you see that, Bill?
No, I didn't.
Oh, YouTube is admitting that Biden and his administration coerced them into censoring people who were more conservative beliefs. I got shut down on YouTube so many times, and they admitted it today that the Biden administration pressured him, and they fell for the pressure. And they were the worst. YouTube was the absolute worst. I mean, Facebook was bad, but YouTube would just nail me. If I said anything about how stupid masks were or anything like that, they'd pull it. They'd pull my whole show.
Wow.
So they admitted today that the Biden administration, the administration that's so pro-democracy,
Right.
yeah, that one. Yeah. The pro-democracy administration was censoring the news so that people couldn't talk about the realities of COVID or anything on a conservative value. So
And
all
for
those
those of you
people
that
out there,
don't know, for those of
huh?
you who don't know, YouTube is owned by Google. So
Oh
that's
yeah,
a big, huge
yeah.
news.
But here's the thing. As soon as the next administration comes in, if it's a Democrat one, they'll go back and do it all again, because they're not doing this because they're such generous, they've seen the light. They're just doing it because they know Trump has got his gauge on them, and he's going to take them
Yes.
out if they don't do something. But yeah, it is. That was announced today, and I just had to laugh so hard, because I'm like, Jiminy Christmas. Yeah. I lost so much business and money. I mean, from them, they throttled me. Facebook throttled me down to like 200,000 people a month, and now I'm at
Wow.
5.5 million. It's like that's the power that they have through their algorithms and stuff. So anyway,
I
Bill,
bet
it's so fun to talk with you, because we can kind of just rant a little bit about all that and people like
it
that. So,
is. It is.
again, you guys, Bill needs another whatever half of it, 175,000 signatures
Yes.
or more.
And more.
And you've got to get those by the 27th. So don't just be on here and go, oh yeah, I want to do that. Go download it now. I mean, go
And
do it.
can I mention something about that real quick?
Sure, please.
When you go to download it, download the packet. Become a volunteer. When you do the packet, make sure you download the instructions and follow them carefully. And then mail me 10 or 20 pages of the 10 liners you've gotten your neighbors, your friends, and your coworkers to sign. You know how fast that will add up with 300, 400 people doing that? That will be amazing. So I really ask everybody that's listening to do it if you can.
So yeah, you guys. So all you have to do is download the packet and then follow the directions. Get 10 more signatures. or 9 more, including yours. There's 10. And then throw that thing in there in the mail to Bill, and you've just become part of the whole package. If we learned anything from the death of Charlie Kirk, it's that there's no room for wimps and tag-alongs. You either get to the front line where it's dangerous, or you're useless, as my mother used to say growing up on a farm in Haines, Oregon. You're as useless as tits on a boar. You have to be part of the solution. And for all of us to do that, we don't have to do a lot. We have to do something. And how hard is it to download that? And yeah, and as Eric's saying on here, only sign your name on once. Do not be a Democrat.
For all you Democrats,
don't sign someone else's name. You go to your neighbors. You got 10 people in your. Everybody has 9 people in their life that. Well, okay, you live in Oregon, so it's going to be hard to find a non-Democrat. But no, I'm kidding. There's 9 non-affiliated voters in your neighborhood, just waiting for you to come to their door and ask for their signature. And then if they say, well, why would I do that? And say, well, would you rather pay X amount of dollars more in taxes every year for a pet project for Tina Kotex, the governor of Oregon? You'll get a signature.
Yeah, and you don't want ODOT to allow only 13% of their budget to go for fixing the roads, and the rest goes to DEI and woke programs, which has happened in the past. Then we get taxed again. We got to stop that. And for all you Democrats out there that really want to see a change, and I know a lot of you do.
They do.
Do what Erica, Kirk's wife, did. Forgive yourself. Forgive yourself for who you put in office. Step up, make a change, and support us. Please let that happen to you.
All right. Bill Minix, always a pleasure. So you know what? Pleasure. Get a hold of me. Remind me that last week before the 27th, and we'll do this one more time and push it out there. Okay.
Sounds good. And thanks again. And thank you to the audience.
All right. See you, buddy. So what you guys can do is then take this show and share it on your page so that other people can see and understand a little bit more about, because there's a lot of negative talk out there right now. And I get it. I mean, this is a big push. But if you do it, and I think you can, it really is a slap in the face to say, no, you have to listen to us. We chose you to govern us, or at least somebody did. And now you have to govern us. And if you won't, and what does that show other legislators too? Yeah. And the Secretary of State and the Attorney General is there's a new sheriff in town, and it's called All of Us. We are Charlie Kirk, and we can make a difference, and we can change this. But if we sit on our big ass all the time and not do anything and just complain, nothing gets done. Our show is sponsored by Dr. Michael Bratlin, Chris Dental, Eugene. If you're looking for somebody who cares about freedom and your voice and is concerned about censorship and concerned with the governor and the legislators that are the majority in Oregon, pick a new dentist and go talk to them. It's good to have you guys on board. I'll be back next week. I don't know when and where, but you can always find it. Share it. It helps me as well if you are so inclined. Okay. I'm now a professional babysitter of my grandson. He loves me. I'll see you later. Good night, guys.